This is the most underappreciated moment in all of Hazbin Hotel. Let's talk about it. Live to Live is one of, if not the lowest stream song on the Hazbin Hotel Season 2 album, and I think it's a damn shame. It's one of my favorites because of its hopeful and human lyrics, and because it's a moment that, in my opinion, really lays out the narrative Viv is trying to get across with the nature of redemption and the hotel itself. And it's done through this incredibly insightful conversation between Sarah and Sir Pentious that is just so overlooked. So today, let's break it down and let's talk about it. During this scene in Season 2, Episode 7, we are at a dark night of the soul for Sarah. A dark night of the soul refers to a deep spiritual crisis. It's a sort of painful period of existential despair, meaninglessness, and disconnection from spirituality or purpose. Seeing the dark night of the soul trope from a literal angelic being was honestly so refreshing to see, in my opinion. I think Sarah feels abandoned by the voice of God in a way, as she begs them for answers, and the voice of God says that she cannot give them in the song that they share together, that only through looking within and speaking from her heart can Sarah atone for her own sins of allowing the extermination in the first place. Sarah is a high seraphim. She is meant to be a sort of all-knowing leader, and yet she is distraught and indecisive on how to handle the conflicts and tensions between heaven and hell. She is distraught most of episode 7, with far too many frantic and passionate opinions coming from Emily, Lute, and Abel on what to do. She's frankly overwhelmed and has no idea what direction to take. She no longer trusts her own divine judgment and feels she can only pray for answers, or rather, somehow beg or convince the speaker of God, someone above her, to tell her what to do so that the weight of making the decision doesn't have to be on her shoulders. But it must be, for this is the reason the power is bestowed on her. It is hers to deal with. So, with heaven and hell at odds, war at her people's doorstep, praying for orders that won't come, what is it that finally brings Sarah to her sense of purpose again? What? Who is it that ignites the courage within her to make things right instead of leaning into more violence? It is a human soul that once went by the name Pendleton. While all of heaven is in a state of panic, Sir Pentious sneaks back to Sarah's prayer chambers and asks her a simple human question. Pentious comes and meets Sarah with human care and compassion. He reaches out to be a place of comfort, and Sarah does laugh at him and berate him slightly for this at first. She questions him on if he even has any concept of what exactly she even is, or what the weight of her position means to the concept of the afterlife, existence, everything. And to this, Pentious just says that she looks like a person that needs someone to talk things out with. And to this, Sarah actually agrees with him. What then follows is one of the best parts of Hazbin Hotel so far, and I think is just entirely slept on. For I believe this represents the true heart of Hazbin Hotel, and the message that Viv wants to send to people about the nature of humanity, forgiveness, and redemption. Sarah goes on to explain her duties to Pentious, that she holds the duty of enforcing judgment of those in heaven and to nurture and protect those souls that make it into heaven and deserve it. And she never had doubts about who was deserving of this reward or not. But now that Pentious was redeemed, that has changed literally everything that Sarah once thought she knew about demon kind. Of course demons are angry and want their own retribution for their fallen, and the angels and all others in heaven are scared and looking to Sarah to know what to do. But she doesn't. She has no idea what to do, or even how to know what to do. How can she trust her own judgment when there were so many that might have been saved, but were slain because she directly allowed it? And how is she meant to explain this to her people, and honestly herself, that these demons could still have innate good with them to be redeemed when they're out at their gates declaring war? Sarah cannot make sense of it all, and it is directly causing her dark night of the soul and this insecurity within her. But then, Pentious gives her some perspective from a human soul, something that Sarah has probably never had in her thousands of years in existence. He tells her, through this musical number, that humans are afraid. All of them, all the time. That they are scared, and that is how we have gotten to this point. Sarah does not have to grapple with the concept of mortality. Sarah is a seraphim that has never known what the human experience is actually like, but Sir Pentious is the one that gives her this perspective. He explains that when you live a life that scared of the concept of mortality, of the inevitable looming knowledge that you will die someday, that you'll do anything to continue to live to the next one. You'll do anything to wake up another day to experience that sunrise, work on that passion project to see that person, that place, that thing. People will do anything to have the ability to continue to carry on. Some people will even commit sins against one another to ensure this. He literally says, some would kill to live again tomorrow. And this is literal. Some humans would and have killed to ensure another tomorrow. I'm pretty sure Angel Dust probably did. If you watch Sarah's acting throughout this, you'll see that she's really considering these things about the human experience that Sir Pentious is telling her. She goes on to ask Pentious, in the battle with Adam, you feared your death? And he says yes, and she goes on, but fear did not drive you to wickedness. You were brave. You sacrificed yourself to save another life. Something had changed in you deep within. How does a guilty soul shed their sin? And this is the big question, isn't it? And Sarah is looking to a human soul for this answer now. Not a higher power, not the voice of God, a human soul. And what does he say? It starts with sorry, but it cannot just end there. I learned from Charlie. First, you must prove you care. And then we get to the lesson, the heart that Sir Pentious is carrying, and I think will continually carry through the seasons. Mistakes are innate to being human and alive. We fall, we repent, we survive. There's hope for us all as we strive to live to earn our own redemption. I think this is the thesis of the show. The concept of redemption is obviously core to the show, and I think that if there's any sort of lesson that Viv might be trying to get across with it, I think that this could be it. If so, I'm really excited to see how that could develop as we learn more about the Morningstar family in the next season to come. I think Charlie and the hotel are core to redemption, as she represents this idea of hope and redemption for any that are willing to work for it. And I think that we will only learn more about the ways that she can help guide souls towards it, as I truly do think she is core to it, redemption, just by being herself. She believes that anyone can be redeemed. She believes that mistakes are innate to the human condition, and that there is hope for all that strive to earn redemption for their wrongdoings and grow. But these are just some of my thoughts on this really thoughtful song that I think just does not get nearly enough recognition in the fandom at all. But what do you think of this song? What do you think of this discussion? Do you have any thoughts? Feel free to have those conversations with me and others down in the comments. Also, for returning viewers, I'm trying to decide what sort of style I'm going to have for narrating my videos. In my first video on Knights of Guinevere, I used like a lot more of an upbeat voice like I did this time. But I always personally like listening to like a more calmer, smoother voice, like low tone. I listen to stuff like this personally, so like what do we think? More energy or like more mellow? Let me know if you have an opinion, and of course, as always, make sure to take care of yourselves.